And I am recording back into, oh, I'm gonna turn down my phone here. All right. Well, hello and welcome to today's webinar entitled Keyword Research for Search Engine Optimization. Actually, a lot of interest in this webinar. We had close to 200 people signed up. My name is Raulf, with me Colin, Sutz. We're going to introduce ourselves real quick. So real quick about myself, my name again, Raulf, originally from Switzerland, moved here about 20 years ago. Started my own SEO and digital marketing agency about 6 or 7 years ago. Offer everything from mostly training now to site audits, organic SEO, content marketing, all that good stuff that people with a website seem to need these days. Colin, I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Great. Hi, my name is Colin Sutz, manager of consulting services with SocialSEO here in Colorado Springs. Originally born in upstate New York, moved to Colorado around 1986, so been here a little over 30 years. A couple of my interests, skiing, hiking, traveling. Started collecting some barley wine a number of years ago, and happy to be here today.
Cool. And then just real quick, all the services and all the good stuff that we do.
Absolutely. So we really help businesses kind of navigate their digital marketing path. We offer all of the core digital marketing opportunities that exist, which would be organic search engine optimization, pay-per-click marketing, social media marketing, both traditional and on the advertising side, content marketing encompassed, and all of those in addition to SEO site audits.
All right, cool. So we teamed up about, gosh, it's been about 2.5 years ago, made it a little bit more official about a year ago. We always competed against each other. My passion is teaching and speaking about SEO. We got about 50 people, or Colin, your team, about 50 people in the Springs. So it's a really good combination. It allows us to, or me to speak worldwide now. And you and I actually teach classes here in the Denver area. So we still have our own websites, but it's a really good working relationship, and definitely happy to help if any of you need help with digital marketing stuff. Enough of the sales talk. We have a packed agenda today. We don't have a lot of time. I predict that we may go a little bit over time. So if you have time, please stay on, but we're recording the session, so everybody will get the recording as well as a link to the slides. Okay. So what do you need to know? Your target SEO keywords. Then we'll talk about an introduction to keyword research, tools that support that process on finding the right keywords. Then how to select the initial list of target SEO keywords, and then we'll talk about what I call the low-hanging fruit keywords that potentially could help drive immediate traffic to your website. Then keyword mapping, it's probably something very few of you have heard about, but it's hyper important for the success of your overall SEO strategy. And then we're going to talk about how to put these keywords to work for you on your website. And then also we'll briefly take a look at how to measure and monitor the success of your efforts. I shared a tool called RankWatch earlier today. You'll get a month-long free trial. You can track, I think, up to 500 keywords. So definitely take advantage of that tool if you see fit. Then hopefully we'll have a little bit time for Q&A at the end. All right.
Yeah, sounds good, Chris. Before we jump in, I just want to mention we will be providing slides to all attendees. Sometimes we'll go through some tool sets, which we provide links to through the slides that can be hard to capture at the pace we may need to move today. So just know that if you are in attendance, you will be receiving copies of all of the slides.
All right, awesome. Please submit your website's URL and your most important target SEO keyword via the chat or the questions box. If you'd like to be part of this training, we'd like to make it hands-on, though we don't have a ton of time. But we'll try to make it as hands-on as possible. Colin, the good news and the bad news. I think the good news is that our attendees will actually learn a lot of very useful information today. The bad news, unfortunately, it's just not enough time. Even, Colin, when we do our half-day trainings, I mean, that's just touching the tip of the iceberg, right? So I think you'll walk away with some great knowledge, but please keep in mind, it's not enough time to really cover everything here. Then let's start at the end. So why are we here today? So basically, Colin, your goal and my goal for our attendees today is that they can create a list of target SEO keywords. That's a partial list of my SEO keywords, where you know how many people are actually searching for those keywords on Google, how competitive it is, potentially how much people are willing to spend in pay-per-click. But then also my goal is that our attendees are able to track the rankings, basically the progress they make with these keywords. As you can see here, SEO training, of course, a very important keyword for me, for my business. I know that about 1,300 people in the States are searching for that keyword. Super competitive. I want to know, do my rankings improve over time after I put in the effort to optimize for that keyword? So that basically, in a nutshell, that would be the goals of this webinar. All right. Why do you need to know your target SEO keywords? Okay, people are searching for things on Google and other search engines. When we say Google, we also mean other search engines, but Google is dominating this game, so we'll probably stick to saying Google. So people are searching with keywords or phrases that can be one word or 2, 3, 4 or more words strung together. All right. In relation to that search term, Google will display search results on their SERPs, the search engine results pages. That can be just a basic organic listing. It can be a local listing, etc., etc. The important thing here is that you pick keywords that you've researched. You know exactly how many people are searching for those keywords in this search on those search engines. So you don't just shoot from the hip. You actually know what you're optimizing for. All right, Colin, one of my favorite slides, the best place to hide a dead body. So I also teach at high schools, and I ask, hey, where's the best place to hide a dead body? These kids come up with amazing answers, slightly scary sometimes. Basically, if your website in relation to your target SEO keywords doesn't show up on page number 1, or actually the organic 3, 4, 5 top positions, you're not gonna get those clicks. It's as simple as that. So if you're on page number 2, that'd be the best place to hide a dead body, you're not gonna get the traffic. This is why you need to know your keywords. This is why you need to put effort into optimizing those keywords, and this is where why you want to rank on those top organic search results on Google. All right. So essentially, it's sort of like picking your keywords is probably a good analogy. Is picking it's like creating a Christmas wish list. Okay, I want this, that. I want be number 1 for this keyword. So let's say instead of just wishing for a game. I'm sure your kids are gonna provide additional details to Santa. So that's sort of like the search volume. Okay, I would like a game console. It's the latest and greatest instead of just a game. And then once you get that gift of that rank number 1 organically on Google, I'm sure you're going to be a super happy camper at the end of the year. Colin, is that a good analogy? I thought about different ways of saying that. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I want to back up just a little bit, Chris, just in regard to the importance of understanding consumer behavior. ultimately, while there are phrases that can bring in a tremendous amount of traffic, for most businesses that we deal with, it's really about, getting leads or actually making sales. And so just getting, idea keyword phrases where we start in this process, it is a great place to start, but ultimately we have to narrow those down. That's a little bit about what we're going to talk about today, and really determining what are those keywords that will really drive traffic to your website. So the wish list is a great place to start. And oftentimes we have our clients give us what we call seed keywords. It's keywords that they believe are the right keywords. And I see in the chat box that we've got some good ones, some good examples from some of the attendees today. But ultimately, we really need to narrow those down. We'll talk about mapping them to the correct places of your website to really drive high conversion opportunities to your website.
Well said. Exactly. All right. So hey, Colin, I'm going to let you cover this slide. That's actually a screenshot from our proposal template. And as you can see right there, keyword analysis recommendation, that's the first step. Colin, tell me more a little bit about this screenshot here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is literally a quick image that I pulled from our actual SEO proposal. The reason that there are 6 columns moving from left to right is a less aggressive to a most aggressive strategy. And I really just pulled out our analysis and monitoring section. But you'll see that keyword analysis and recommendations is #1 on the list. It's #1. It goes first. It is the foundation of successful SEO, is identifying what the consumer of your goods and services are typing into the search engines. And then we make recommendations, and together we determine a final set of keyword phrases that we will be targeting. Once we've determined that, then we start going through some of the rest of these features that mentioned. Baseline reports is where we report to our customers exactly where they're ranking today for the chosen keyword phrases we have determined together that we're going to be targeting. And as you can see, going down the left-hand column, just a number of actual services that we provide on a case-by-case basis. And this is one of 3 pages of SEO activities that we perform on projects. We literally look at over 100 different factors. Every single person, every single business is a completely unique project, but it does all start with keyword analysis.
Exactly. That's where it begins. All right. So if you get this right, this is actually a real customer example. As you can see here, Google organic search traffic year over year. We started with keyword research, then we started to implement these SEO best practices. We used those keywords throughout all of those steps that we're performing, and it absolutely, I mean, there's no guarantee, but here for this example, it definitely made a nice little difference of nearly 100%. But just getting more people to your website doesn't cut it. We really want to convert those people that get to the website. So in this case, over 3.5 years, we increased our Google organic search traffic by about 1,400%. And it also made a nice little dip in their revenue, or like increase of about 800% increase in revenues directly related to Google organic search traffic. Again, no SEO company should guarantee you that they will do that, but this is totally possible. And I'm actually blown away that not more people actually do SEO. Totally blown away. If you can achieve those results in the stock market simply by learning how to do this stuff, I mean, you would jump on that opportunity. So this is what's possible. But again, it all starts with keyword research. All right, let's jump over to an introduction to keyword research. That's why we're all here, right? Colin, how does search work?
Well, fairly simple. We have consumers, which we call demand on one side. They are the ones who are actually typing in phrases into the search engines. We've obviously got all of the businesses that are attending today who should have the supply of the goods and services, that the demand. And in the middle, we've got the databases. This is what connects the buyers and the sellers. And so the difference in between is someone types in the keyword phrase, Google, Yahoo, Bing as an example, computes and provides who they believe deserves the top ranking in the search engine results page.
Exactly. And then maybe, Colin, usually in our, longer full day or 2 day trainings, we also discuss other databases or search engines. Can you talk a little bit more about that? What are some options to these main search engines?
Well, interestingly, as probably most people are aware, Google owns YouTube, and YouTube actually has the #2 most searched, if you could call it a search engine. There are more searches that happen in YouTube daily than Yahoo and Bing combined. They are #2 only to the traditional Google search engine. And then obviously social media platforms give opportunities. Facebook has been expanding on the opportunity to do search within their navigation as well. So I would say those are a couple of the other two biggies.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, LinkedIn, SlideShare. I mean, these, let's call it databases, are popping up left and right. So maybe Google is not the best place for you to do optimization. Maybe it's one of those niche databases or search engines. So just keep that in mind. The principle is very similar. It's a keyword-based search. That's how they connect, buyers with searchers, or searches with offers. All right. So this is how Google and other search engines see the digital landscape out there. Bits and bytes, zeros and ones. It's a total mess. And these Google and these other search engines, they have to make sense of this mess, right? And in the middle somewhere is your website. So Google's mission is to organize the world's information. I may also say monetize. They make about $1 billion in revenue. Actually, sorry, profit these days. Quite amazing. So their mission is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. All right. So with doing this keyword research, we're actually going to help Google better understand who we are and what we do. It's as simple as that. So Colin already briefly spoke about the overall SEO methodology, all the steps that go into optimizing a website. Colin, you mentioned about 100 steps in the proposal. So actually, if somebody is doing a Google search, Google will run this query through its algorithm, its software script. And there are, of what is known, about 200 to 250 main ranking signals, potentially thousands of sub-ranking signals. Each and every one of those signals, they can be placed onto one of those 5 pillars, or call it bucket or whatever. Basically, the technical health of a website. Make sure that your website doesn't have spam inside, that it's, technically healthy on the inside. You're not going to run a marathon if you're not healthy on the inside. That's probably a good analogy. Then, very important, any SEO can get you probably more traffic to your website. But if your website doesn't function well, if the user has a bad experience, your website will get downgraded. On-page SEO, this is where keyword research falls into the place primarily. Starts with keyword research, meta tags optimization. We'll talk about that in just a second here. Hyperlinking, content optimization, etc. Anything you can do on your website, starting with keyword research. Then off-page SEO, anything that happens outside of your website that tells Google that you want to be found for certain keywords. That can include creating an about.me page, acquiring high quality backlinks from other websites, etc. And then, love it or hate it, social media marketing needs to be part of your SEO strategy. Google is teaming up with, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc., other social media platforms. So basically, as soon as you tweet something, it's actually indexed in Google's database. So you have to make it part of your overall SEO strategy. And then, of course, this is primarily where we're going to use our keywords in our content marketing efforts. And I do hope all of our attendees have blogs or like ways to create new content for their websites, because that's where you're going to implement those keywords. I wrote an article about this strategy. Right there at the bottom is the link, and no need to write it down. You'll get a copy of these slides, hopefully later on this week. Colin, any thoughts about this methodology? Does that wrap it up?
Yeah, I think, maybe just to point out a couple of the big main ranking signals over the last couple of years, and if we could probably go right down the list, but on technical health and website functionality, site speed has become a big deal to Google, which follows that user experience. They want it to render very quickly. The other, maybe even more important, is mobile friendliness. Last year, in 2016, mobile search exceeded desktop search. And Google put out a very strong algorithm shift that basically stated, if your website is not mobile friendly, even if it's optimized well, but your competitors are, they will have an advantages in ranking over you. So it's very important to pay attention to each one of these and make sure that we are adhering to Google's best practices.
Absolutely. So it's not just one thing that makes a difference. It's like a list of, many, 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 many things. All right, and here are your rules, Google's webmaster guidelines. Adhere to these rules, or you may get kicked out of their database. So definitely recommend you take a look at these guidelines. And all right, let's quickly talk about some tools to support the keyword research process. Colin, how much money do we spend on tools? Just take a guess. I mean, you probably don't have the exact number, but how much money do you spend on paid tools?
I know for a fact it is over $60,000 a year, possibly approaching $100,000 a year.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, SEOs like us, we simply need those, let's call it weapons in our arsenals. There are some awesome free tools. Sorry, we don't want to scare you, but there are some awesome free tools that should be part of your SEO strategy. Colin, quickly walk me through these three tools here.
Yeah, Google Keyword Planner is actually the tool that is designed to help you find keyword phrases for Google's paid advertising, pay-per-click or Google AdWords. But ultimately, it's a great tool for organic SEO because it gives us the opportunity to look at exact variations of keyword phrases and the keyword volumes. It will provide us an average per month on a 12-month average. You do have to actually attach a credit card to get more accurate numbers, or it will only give you price ranges. Webmaster Tools is actually something that you attach to the website, and it provides data back. We're going to show a couple of slides where you can extract some really good information for low-hanging fruit keywords. And Google Trends is just a great way for you to kind of keep up with what's happening with Google as they're transitioning and changing their algorithms. The average change is about one per day. There were over 365 changes last year to their algorithms.
Exactly, and also Google Trends, it shows you sort of like the trend of a keyword or topic, or it's all about trends, right? So before you lock in a keyword, I recommend you go to Google Trends, type in that keyword, make sure it's actually on an upward trend or not on a downward trend. Then we'll take a look at I'll quickly showcase RankWatch later on in this webinar. A tool I absolutely love, SEM Rush. I'll also showcase that tool. Hopefully we'll do a live case study here with one of our attendees. Then Moz, also a paid tool that provides awesome information. Ahrefs, also a tool that provides awesome information. Keyword Finder, SERPs. I mean, this list goes on forever and ever and ever. If you want to be really serious about SEO, I think you should pick at least one or two paid tools to support your overall efforts. Absolutely take advantage of your free Google tools. All right. Let's talk about how to research and select the initial list of target SEO keywords and phrases here. All right. Colin, quickly walk me through what a long tail and a short tail keyword is.
Yeah, I think ultimately that the prefix, the long and short portion of the phrase is what tells it all. Generally, a short tail phrase is a 1 or 2 word phrase. Very simple. SEO, although as an acronym, would be considered a 1 word phrase. SEO services would be a 2 word phrase. And best SEO in Colorado would be a long tail keyword phrase.
Exactly. That's it. The more words used as part of their search, the more I think serious they are. They know exactly what they're looking for. So don't just go for those 1 or 2 keyword phrases. Those are often used during the keyword research or like the research phase. Oftentimes the longer tail keywords, those are actually the ones that will convert a searcher to a customer.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and we'll talk a little bit in a moment about kind of the way that the strength of a website trickles down from the home page, and generally you would be putting those short tail keyword phrases as the overall overarching phrase of what your industry or topic subject matter is about, and then getting into those more specific long tail keyword phrases generally have higher conversion because, as Chris mentioned, the longer that search, the consumer generally has a better sense of exactly what they're looking to find in the results.
Exactly. Essentially, it all boils down to search intent. Make sure you understand what your potential customer, what's their intention by using these keywords to connect with somebody like you. Do a Google search, an incognito Google search before you lock in a keyword. Make sure that Google actually displays what you think your potential customer would want to see. That's an easy way to make sure you don't go down the wrong path. Then homonyms. It's basically a word that's pronounced and also spelled the same way. We often, some industries, actually many industries, they use keywords from other industries, and it could be deadly. If you select keywords that are used in another industry, it's just an uphill battle, right, Colin? I mean, quick word about homonyms. What's your take on that?
Yeah, again, it comes down to user intent. You just really have to have an understand of the consumer behavior of what they're typing in. One mistake could drive a tremendous amount of traffic that would literally provide 0 value. So it is important, and it could lead to high bounce rates, which Google doesn't like. So very important to have a clear understanding of the intent of the consumer when targeting keyword phrases.
Exactly. All right, so this is the tool that we spoke about before, Google Keyword Planner. It is part of Google AdWords, and gosh, about 6 months ago, basically anybody could use this tool to do keyword research. You would get exact search volume, and then boom, Google made a change. Unless you're actually running an active AdWords campaign, you no longer get exact search volumes. So I do recommend, if you want to use this tool, maybe set up a campaign and just set a very low bid price, so that maybe you spend $10 a month or whatever, but you still have access to this tool. And we'll just go into this tool in just a little bit here. So let me give you an example what I'm actually going to cover in our live exercise here in a second. So Denver SEO training, it actually matters where you put on the geolocator, the back or the front. In this case, Denver SEO training yields about 10 organic searches on Google per month. This Google tool will also give me recommendations, and it told me, hey, SEO training Denver, as you can see Denver at the end, a lot more people actually searching for this variation of the keyword. So just alone getting this right could make or break your overall SEO strategy. So it's super hyper important. All right. Colin, do we have any volunteers, any keywords that quickly want to walk people through a keyword research exercise here? Did we get some keywords?
Yeah, we actually have a large number of them, so I'm just going to go kind of right in the middle and pick somebody out of the crowd. How about let's go with Bill McCabe. We've got internetofThingsRecruiting.com.
All right. Colin, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm in AdWords right now. It's on the Tools Keyword Planner. Okay. And so tell me that.
His IoT Recruiter. IoT stands for Internet of Things Recruiter.
Okay, so IoT, and I assume we're targeting US nationwide. This is where you could switch it down to basically the city level. We're targeting all languages, Google. Unfortunately, we don't have time to cover everything in this tool, but I definitely recommend play around with it. You can set up filters, keywords to include, exclude, etc., etc. So IoT Recruiter, Internet of Things Recruiter. All right, apparently not too many people are searching for that search term, IoT Recruiter. So that means less than 10 people are searching for that term. Why don't we Internet of Things Recruiter. I mean, it's a relatively new term. All right, no, let me see. Internet of Things Recruitment. Look at that. All right, Internet of Things Recruitment. 10. Internet of Things Training. 70, etc., etc. Should we pick another keyword for the sake of this keyword research exercise?
Yeah. Let's we'll go with another example. Let's go with Lauren Starr. Keyword phrase: centrifugal feeders. I'll spell it for you, Chris.
Yep.
CentrifugalCuntrif as in Frank.
Hang on. Okay. Yeah, I think
just an F as in Frank instead of the S as in Sam.
Okay. Okay.
Feeders, Feeders. Feed, F as in Frank, EED, feeders. F as in Frank.
Okay. Oh,
F as in Frank. There you go. EED. There you go. Perfect.
Got it. Interesting keywords today. All right, centrifugal feeders. 20. Man, we have actually 20 people searching for that keyword. Let's do this. Okay, so we do have our seed keyword now. What I would do, I would click on download, Excel CSV spreadsheet. And I click on save file. So this would be a seed keyword. All right, so Google's going to give us recommendations based on that keyword. All right, so let me minimize. And I'm going to increase the view here a little bit. All right.
Lauren, if you're still with us, do some of these other suggestions, vibratory feeder or bowl feeder, are those in line? Bowl feeder, yes.
All right. So let me quickly walk you through the process. So this tool was spit out about, I think, 800 keywords based on one seed keyword. We would copy all of these keywords over into our. So now I have all these keywords nicely pasted into my target keywords tab. And now basically what we would do, we would assign priorities. You know, do we believe this is a priority 1 keyword, a priority 2, 3? Then we would categorize those keywords into, you know, centrifugal feeders, maybe CF, etc., etc. So this is what you would do with all of these keyword recommendations. And then basically per category, I would pick about, Colin, what do you recommend? How many keywords per category? I mean, I know this will vary, but how many keywords do you want to pick for a, you know, maybe a 30, 40, 50 page website?
Yeah, you know, I usually per category would like to look at least a couple dozen.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
But again, it can be different. You know, we have businesses, you know, like a local search dentist who their keyword universe will be much, much smaller than any type of e-commerce site selling, you know, products, especially, you know, if we talk about getting into clothing where there's men's and women's and children and color variations, et cetera. So it really is on a case-by-case basis.
Exactly. All right, let me go back to hopefully my PowerPoint slide. Can you see my slide again?
Yes.
All right, beautiful. All right, so that was a super quick intro to how to identify those, you know, initial target SEO keywords using Google Keyword Planner. Let's talk about how to identify low-hanging fruit keywords that will immediately drive traffic to your website. And we're, gosh, already running a little bit behind schedule here with all these technical issues. Absolutely, Google Search Console is a free tool that you can use for this exercise. Log in and then click on Search Analytics. Then let me close my little window here. Bang. There we go. Make sure select the date range of the last 90 days, because this tool will only give you about anywhere from like 30 to 40% of all the data that it actually collected. Then up there, you know, make sure you click on clicks, impressions, CTR, position, etc. This will then bring up the keywords that are already driving traffic to your website. You'll see the click-through rate, the position. So we're using this exercise to identify the keywords where you know, we're already we have a decent ranking, we're getting some clicks, and it may have a high search volume. So I'm heading over to Google Keyword Planner. I plug in the keyword Denver SEO. I'm currently at position 18. And look at that. This tool is telling me that about nearly 3,000 people are searching for that exact keyword on Google per month. So absolutely, this is a low-hanging fruit keyword for my website. All right, so the definition of a low-hanging fruit keyword, my definition, you're anywhere from ranked from position 6 to 30. There's enough monthly search volume. It actually makes sense for your business to make it a target SEO keywords. All right, so these three things sort of define what a low-hanging fruit keyword is. I created an online SEO training course. It's about 7 hours long. Of course, keyword research is a big part of that training. Right there is the URL. If you want to check that out, you can, I think, check out the first hour for free. Then let's quickly talk about SEMrush. And I don't think we'll have time to actually go deep here, but this tool, it actually sort of, it will tell you, you don't have to go through the manual process of using Google Webmaster Tools. You can just type in your website. Of course, you have to use the paid version. I think the free version will give some useful data, but it basically will tell you, hey, your website is ranking for this keyword at this position. There are about 250 searches performed on Google per month. Colin, what do you think about this tool, SEMrush?
I love the tool. I think one thing that I want to mention is that when it identifies the keyword phrases that you are currently ranking for, it doesn't mean that you're purposely targeting them. And so it is just providing you information saying, hey, you are in this particular position for this particular free keyword phrase. Your website will score for keyword phrases unintentionally, just simply based on the content on the page. But we're talking about taking an intentional approach to target the right keyword phrases that will bring in your target customers.
Exactly. So that's an awesome tool. It's about $100 a month. Well worth it if if you want to dive a little bit deeper with SEO and keyword research here. Let's quickly cover the keyword mapping process. Colin, walk me through this slide real quick.
Yeah, ultimately, I mentioned this briefly, homepage at the very top. So that is generally where your overarching phrase will go that kind of encompasses your industry or category, so to speak. But the better keyword phrases are going to land in your services and product pages, your child and what we call grandchild pages. We believe that over 50% of your traffic should land in these sections. These are higher conversion opportunities. This is where they can actually look at your products and services. So very important to take a purposeful approach on which keyword phrases land on the homepage at the top and which follow the pyramid down.
Exactly. And here's sort of like a visual representation. I use a tool called Bubble to basically map out my website and then plug in those keywords. As you can see, the homepage, SEO training, SEO classes, SEO certification, then the individual services pages, the SEO training pages, etc. So I do recommend that a visual representation is actually nice for assigning those keywords. And then, of course, we have the supporting content such as blog posts, case studies, white papers, etc., where you can sort of send SEO juice up to those high converting pages. All right, Colin.
Yeah, so ultimately, yeah, I just want to say the previous slide of the pyramid, this is a different representation of the same thing. And so in this red box on the top, SEO training is one of the primary keyword phrases that is being targeted on that page. As you go down into the second level, you see that we go into some longer tail keyword phrases, SEO website audit, free SEO audit. We're getting a little bit more granular. And then as we have under the about, we have a Denver and Boulder pages spread out. Now we're even geo-modifying those phrases for that specific geographical area where we want to target, incorporating the words Denver and Boulder at that level.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's briefly talk about how to put these keywords to work. And we're only going to talk about meta tags optimization here. So in relation to doing a search on Google, Google will tell you how many pages you're competing against. It will display a paid search results or 3, 4. Then the organic search results. This is what it's called a snippet, which is part of the SERP, the search engine results page. This is what you want to optimize on the back end of your website. All right. Every one of your web pages needs to have a title tag, 50 to 60 characters. Make sure include your most important SEO keyword in that title tag on the back end of your website. In this case, SEO training. The URL should include your most important SEO keyword as well. Description tag should be about 150 to 160 characters. Make sure you use variations of your keywords in there. And why not include a call to action, register now, etc. Then Colin, talk to me about rich snippet content real quick. What is it? What are some options to get those rich snippets?
think of this as a highlighter. This is where you can literally highlight to Google specific bits of information that you want them to populate in their search engine results page. For this example, Chris has highlighted 2 of his training courses. Someone could actually click right into from the search engine result page and get to that April 5th to April 6th training. One of the great additions to providing more information that you have an opportunity to click on is that you're actually taking up more space on your listing than your competitors, therefore potentially knocking one of your competitors off of the bottom of the page.
Exactly. And oh my gosh, you can use Google Search Console to mark up your content. We just don't have enough time to show that. All right, so measure and monitor the success of your efforts. We're nearly done here, and then hopefully, oh my gosh, we're already over time. Hopefully we'll have some time for Q&A. All right, so if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. It's as simple as that. Again, we use Google Docs, simple spreadsheets. You can share these docs in real time with your boss, with your team. I recommend that you track your SEO keywords on a monthly basis. If you're optimizing for those keywords, you should see improvements. In this case, SEO classes went from, position 12 to position 5. Just a nice visual representation to see that your efforts are actually paying off. And then I'm also pulling data from Search Console and Google Analytics. In this case, you see that we've increased Google organic search traffic from 267 to about 523. It's just nice to see that what you're doing is actually working. A lot of tools to pull this data. Again, analytics, webmaster tools, but also think about those social media platforms, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. They all have analytics dashboards, a Hootsuite as well. Then Moz, SEMrush, Rank Tracker, etc. Those are all great tools that you can use to measure and analyze your data. I'm actually, why don't we real quick, I want to show you Rank Tracker. Colin, let me know if you can see. Can you see my, there we go. You should see my Chrome browser.
Yes.
All right. So this is Rank Tracker. That's I sent you a link to this tool. I definitely recommend you take advantage of their 500 keywords tracking option here. This case is actually a customer example. We're tracking 49 keywords. Nice. Look at that. 70 keywords are up right now, 3 down. Yes, you'll see keywords that are going down, but as long as you see more keywords going up, better. So they're actually ranking #1 here for realtor notepads. The tool will give you additional information about the SERPs, the search volume, etc., etc. You can easily pull the data. It's always in real time. You can rerun the rankings. It has a ton of other options here that will help you improve your SEO strategy. So this is a tool that provides very accurate rankings. It's actually nice to see that what you're doing is working. All right. That was a super quick intro to a tool here. And I'm going to go back to my slides.
Yeah, while Chris is transitioning back to the slides, if businesses are engaged in our services, we report in a little bit easier to understand system for those who don't want to be diving into tools like this. We actually provide a very simple list of keyword phrases and show the progression decrease or if it stayed the same on a monthly basis.
Exactly, yeah. All right, Colin and I are teaching. We love talking about SEO. We do it next time.
We're not seeing the slides yet, Chris.
Oh no, man, Mac and how about now?
No.
Oh man. You should.
Chris, while you're looking that up, I'll address a couple of questions. And Jordan had made a statement that they are a trade association. They don't have e-commerce, so they are having a little bit of a hard time with SEO.
Yep.
Interestingly, Jordan, we consider ourselves to be a business-to-business company. We don't actually have any products for sale on our site, but SEO has been a tremendous advantage for us. So really choosing those right keyword phrases and taking a purposeful approach to implement them on your website can still have a tremendous impact. So I think what I'm trying to say is SEO is not only for e-commerce. While it does work very well for e-commerce, it works tremendously well for those of us who provide services or information as well.
Awesome. Can you slide now about the trainings?
Nope, we're still frozen.
Oh man, I know my Mac has.
Kristen asked if it is worth time to include plural versions of search keywords or just the singular. I recommend that you do add both variations, because some plural variations are not simply adding an S. There's actually a unique word for the plural side. In those instances, I believe it is more important to include both versions. When it is simply adding an S to a word, that tends to not be as important. Google usually will consider them the same phrase, and you'll actually see the same search volumes. So don't, but I think it is smart to put into the tool both variations to see those. Chris, we're still stuck. One last question, Chris, that I would love for you to help answer is, how do you get around the keyword phrases that Google hides from you in their analytical data?
How do you get around the keywords that Google hides in your analytical data? I'm not quite sure if I understand.
I believe she may saying, how do you identify them? How can you, if they're not going to provide you the data of the top keyword phrases that are sending traffic to your site, how is there a way to determine what those keyword phrases might be?
Yeah, I mean, it's using those tools. I mean, Google Keyword Planner. It basically it should provide those keywords. I mean, Colin, I know we use a ton of tools for this process. So I believe we actually usually identify those keywords. I mean, maybe some keywords are hidden. I mean, we're usually able to identify the most important keywords.
Yeah, we usually are, because we have actually chosen the keyword phrases that we're attempt to target under. So we have our tools will give us a very good idea of where we're targeting. The third-party tools like SEMrush of what we're scoring under. Yeah. So it does take a little bit of research, but we should be able to identify what keyword phrases are being brought in. I would be happy to take that question more offline if you'd like to reach out to me to talk a little bit more about that. Chris, we're still frozen. I'm going to go through a few more questions.
Okay.
Tammy is asking, does RankWatch have a free version, or is that a paid service, RankWatch?
No, it's actually, so they provide that tool to all training attendees. It's a month-long free trial. I don't think you even have to put in a credit card or anything. You can track up to 500 keywords. So yeah, I'll definitely take advantage of that.
Okay, good. Kenneth, if you have a limited budget and you're doing everything yourself and you've allocated a certain amount of time every week to work on digital marketing, what percentage should you spend on working on your website? He's talking about a brand new site, only a couple of months old, and asking about the difference between SEO, Facebook, and Insta ads. I'll take a stab at part of this question, and Chris, feel free to add on to it. Ken, the last two things you mentioned, Facebook, Insta ads, is paid advertising. You're renting space. So if you're looking for a fast impact to start gathering some potential leads or sales, I do believe in paid advertising, both Google AdWords, Facebook, Instagram ads. I believe in all of that. But the reality is that SEO provides equity. You're earning the position. And so my recommendation would be, at a minimum 50%, I think you should be putting into SEO. It should be the long-term play for your digital marketing. So as much SEO as you can in the early stages, because it's a time game. It's proving to Google that you're providing great information. It's growing the offsite SEO, the popularity of your website by getting links pointing to it. So I think you should be spending a pretty substantial portion of your time on the organic SEO piece. What are your thoughts, Chris?
Oh man, absolutely. I mean, it's as simple as that. The more work you put into this, the higher the reward usually. So, I mean, I went away, I usually ask the question, hey, who has done cold calling here in the training? And, few people, say they did, and I ask, how much do you love it? Scale 1 to 10. We hate it, right? So I went away from, I've done cold calling. Now I optimize my website and I get more of the leads than I can handle. I mean, it's changed my life. If you want to get to that point in your life, put a lot of effort into optimizing your website. I mean, we are now in control. The consumer, we have enough of these pop-up ads, push notifications, etc. We do the research. We find what we're looking for. Tremendous value in having a website optimized. It changes lives.
Absolutely. Another question, Pete, is structured data worth the time and effort? Pete, as a simple question, the simple answer is yes. It is absolutely worth the time and effort. If you are doing it and your competitors aren't, you're differentiating yourself. You're really pointing out specific bits of information to Google that can be very important. So I would say absolutely yes. Chris, you want to piggyback off of that?
Oh yeah, I mean it's a no-brainer. It's not a right fit for every website, but if you have the time, resources, knowledge to do it, I mean this could be a game changer. It gives you a competitive advantage over the sites you're competing against. End of story.
Absolutely. Laura Page, how do you incorporate terms into your website that aren't easily inserted into a sentence on your website? Laura, we talked about a couple of them today. So obviously title tags, we talked about metadata, so your meta descriptions, in addition to alt image tags on any pictures that you might have, are probably three of the top places to incorporate terms. Header tags, so what's known as H1 tags, is a great place. But ultimately, your content should be high quality content. You're proving to Google that you're a subject matter expert. And so you can use variations, but ultimately make sure that you're on track for the keyword phrases that you've chosen for that particular page, and keeping that subject matter high quality in that same exact subject matter. It can be sometimes difficult to be creative and put them perfectly in a sentence, and that isn't necessarily what Google's looking for. They're looking for high quality content that, again, I'll use that phrase, subject matter expert. Google really wants to see that you clearly understand obviously your own subject matter and can easily translate that to your audience.
Yeah, and Laura, I think you saw the email you sent to me regarding this question. Yeah, don't include those keywords directly in your content. I mean, the content has to make sense for people, and Google will exclude keyword, words in, the, from, etc. And Google is getting smarter and smarter. So try to incorporate that potential keywords, including other words throughout your content. That should do the trick, but feel free to include that keyword as is in the meta tags on the back end of your website.
Well, it looks like we've gotten through all of the questions. Sorry about the technical difficulties there at the end. Thank you for sticking with us. It looks like there's about 50 of you still with us. Lastly, we'd just like to say we'd love to hear from you. If you have any additional questions for us, if you want to talk with us, we will be sending out the slides that will have all of our contact information included. But very simply, my email is Collin at SocialSEO.com. That's Colin with 2 L's, Collin at SocialSEO.com. Chris is even easier, Chris at BoulderSEOmarketing.com. That's Chris at BoulderSEOmarketing.com. Really appreciate y'all joining us today. Chris, any parting words?
Man, I hate technical difficulties. I'll create overlays so the recording will look fine. Yeah, definitely appreciate your interest in this webinar. We're here to help. We do trainings, services, all that good stuff. I'll follow up with an email with the link to the recording and the slides. And Colin, I will see you next week at the training in Denver.
All right, fantastic. Thanks, everybody.
Cool.
Have a great day.
All right, thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.